Alright, YouTube, I am not a subscriber of PewDiePie, nor am I particularly interested in much of his work, but I never thought it would be relevant enough to talk about on this channel. I'm geared more towards current events, literature, and things like that, not really entertainment or celebrity stuff, net celebrities. But there's something that we do need to talk about. If you look at what he's doing currently, it's a masterful grand strategy, and that's exactly what it is. This is memetics. This is propaganda. This is a no-lose Trumpite style strategy. I have to assume he's somehow adapting Trump's general concepts. Probably read Art of the Deal or something like that to his work. What is he currently doing? He's saying that YouTube demotes people who happen to be, I guess, not, they're white or they're not left-wing enough, not diverse enough or something like that. Promoting channels of people who disproportionately have what we would consider maybe social justice warrior views. That is true, by the way. I have noticed that myself. You can't not notice it. And that he will actually delete his channel in rage at YouTube if he hits 50 million subscribers. This is a double no-lose strategy that he's using. The first component is this. I don't think he'll delete his channel if he does. What he's doing is he's setting himself up to have a massive surge of the younger, the alt-right internet generation onto his channel to buff up his support probably well above 50 million, honestly. Because they will proclaim that, oh, he's been red-pilled, and so we've got to support him in this endeavor. Once he crosses that threshold, he will then presumably come out and say, oh, well, YouTube obviously has backed off on its lack of support for my content because, look at all the new subscribers and viewership that I have. I'm more powerful than ever, so I'm going back on that. I won't delete my channel. Secondly, his critics, people who don't like his material, they'll pile on too because they want to get him over that 50 million threshold in order to get his channel to be deleted. So he can't lose. Both those who dislike and those who like, and maybe many who are ambivalent about his content, they're all going to be piling onto his material. The hope, I guess, is that even his critics, maybe they don't even know about his channel, they just don't like him because they heard something about him, will then end up supporting him or something like that. That's number one. It's a competitive edge over, other people. He can crush his competitors by making use of the same sort of almost quasi-clickbait strategy that Trump used during the election. What did he do? He'd say something that seems off the wall, but in reality he can't lose no matter how people take it. He did this a million times on Twitter. That's really how social media now is going to be driven. You're going to see this happen more and more often with people who already have, anywhere from some small degree of success to quite a bit using this general strategy because quite obviously it works. Number two, he also has a no-lose situation in regards to YouTube itself. I will say this up front. Let's simplify the situation and see why he is essentially right, even if his content isn't being actively demoted. And it's not. YouTube doesn't do that. It's certainly not demoting my content. I'm surging myself in popularity at the moment, and I'm, nowhere near 50 million subscribers, let's face it. Let's simplify the situation and use sort of an example of how you could demote somebody's content without actively demoting it. Let's simplify it and say you have a company offers two loaves of bread. It's just bread. Now, they're the same. People consume what they want. Now, let's say the company promotes one of those bread loaf brands. Is the other one not, in a de facto sense, demoted because more attention now is being given to the other? It is being demoted. Not actively. You're not denigrating that other product. You're simply promoting its competitor. YouTube is a competitive platform with a limited amount of actual support that can be given. Now, not on the level of human interaction. For instance, a person can subscribe to more than one YouTuber, so it's not limited by the number of people using it. It's not like each person on YouTube has a slice of the pie when it comes to individuals themselves, but they do have a slice of the pie when it comes to how much time is spent on that content, especially within categories. For instance, within political analysis, I put out political analysis. There are others that put out political analysis. A person is fairly unlikely to be watching 2 or 3 videos at the same time. I'm competing for their attention in the frame of their time usage. I'm not competing for their subscription. They can subscribe, for instance, like someone like Greg Hunter. He analyzes politics, foreign affairs, the economy, stuff like that. And I'm subscribed to his channel, in all honesty. I would be within the same category of material. I compete with him for people's time. I don't compete for subscribers. I don't have a problem with his popularity. I don't have a problem with anyone subscribed to him. I don't have a problem even, I agree with him on many of his views, honestly. But I'm still competing with him. Even if I happen to agree with the same content, I'm still competing for people's time usage while they're on YouTube. So PewDiePie essentially is, the only red pilling going on here is he's letting you know something that is very true. When YouTube began highlighting certain YouTubers, certain singers, celebrities, political activists, etc., in a de facto sense, it, in all honesty, absolutely does demote the content of other users within those categories, because we all compete for people's time usage on the internet. It is absolutely true that that's the case. You don't need active algorithmic manipulation. You don't need active manipulation of people's subscription feeds. All you have to do is promote content that YouTube happens to prefer over other people's competing content. It is a de facto demotion of other people's material. Now, importantly, that's not 100% the case. I've also seen instances where YouTube pushes off content that would be seen as overtly political, social activism of one sort or another, some pet activist project raise money for Darfur or something like that, and it gets hammered. It actually, despite the fact that it's highlighted, most of the attention is negative, so it doesn't always invariably work anyway. We saw this during the election with like the celebrities tell you to get out and vote sort of crap that you were seeing day to day on YouTube's highlights. Much of this material ended up getting completely slamma-jammed into oblivion by hundreds of thousands of people that were only there to troll and downrate and leave negative comments. You've seen this before. YouTube's music highlights with some of these diverse or multiculturalist bands or something like that, or music that's only music so-called. It gets hammered. The alt-right is much more well-organized to pull off such things. We saw this during the election, honestly, with the polling alone online, too. So he is fundamentally correct, but the reason why he's doing this is probably not, oh, all of a sudden, he becomes white nationalist PewDiePie or something like that. And I don't think that's what's happening. He's simply using a competitive strategy to denigrate his competitors, while seeming to denigrate the same platform on which he's making his entire income, which is YouTube. He's, I think, using ad revenue. He probably gets a 7-figure salary each year, or somewhere in the high 6 figures at the very least. He's certainly not pulling in, $10 a month doing what he's doing. And he doesn't have anything to worry about as far as being able to get by financially, even if he is being demoted in his content, in essence, because other people are being promoted instead of him. What YouTube is likely to do to respond, considering that I think he's got the most subscribers out of any YouTuber, what it's likely to do is, in response to this, it's likely to try to offer him some benefit as well. So he can't lose in the situation. It's not like they're going to ban his account for saying, oh, well, they're demoting me for being white. Yeah, they're going to ban the most popular YouTuber and have millions of people who are, honestly, maybe hardcore fans of his work. They're going to have an uproar. Yeah, I don't think that YouTube's likely to do that. But it is propaganda. It is memetics. That's what we're seeing here. It's masterful. It's a great strategy to use. Lots of people have. Donald Trump won the election partially because of this. Increasingly, I think you're going to see more competitive individuals, ambitious individuals who are trying to outcompete others using such strategies. I'm just letting people know. That's what I see going on here. My analysis during the election was based on the premise, and my prediction of the election was based on the premise that this sort of strategy was being employed by Donald Trump, was being employed by others as well. Sanders to a lesser extent. That was more grassroots and disorganized. It's why he lost. That and the DNC rigged everything against him. But that is the state of our political discourse, our political discourse as well, like this, is increasingly online discourse. It's not on TV. People don't care what the talking heads have to say anymore. They're going to the internet. They're going to, some random person with a webcam on YouTube, or they're going to some Facebook page or blog or forum or chat or something like that. That's where they're having the true political discourse. The lame stream like the establishment can't cope with it. PewDiePie's setting himself up to set himself apart from that establishment core that refuses to use such strategies. They just use standard clickbait. They say, boom, oh, Trump proven to be reptilian. Oh, aha, caught in the act, Hillary Clinton, lesbian affair, something like that. And it doesn't work anymore, honestly, at least beyond a fringe audience. So this is a pretty good strategy he's using. Yeah, it's memetics. It's exactly what it is. People will see what they want to see in this. Some alt-writer will see him, oh, PewDiePie's been red-pilled, well, I have to support him. His critics will say, oh, well, he'll leave if we give him a little more support, so let's subscribe to him, let's consume his material, spread it around. The media will say, oh, top YouTuber suddenly entering fringe political discourse, let's write a story about this, people will love to hear about this, he's getting so much extra attention, he's mopping it up. He's probably sitting back and cackling with laughter right now. Good for him. He's, yeah, it's a pretty good strategy. It's wonderful. He's not the one who thought it up originally, but he's certainly adapting it fairly well. He'll probably double down on it too. He'll pull a Trump. He'll probably tweet about it, post it on his Facebook page and so forth. It's masterful. It's wonderful to see other people adapting the same material. Marine Le Pen over in France is doing the same thing right now to a lesser extent. Hofer tried. He sort of fell through, but yeah, you're going to see this more and more and more and more. This is why the political establishment's dying. Look what's happening in Europe right now. It's going to keel over. It's going to be great to watch. It'll be absolute chaos. These outdated old goofballs can't keep up with the younger generation when it comes to memetics, when it comes to online discourse, propaganda in a most literal sense, decentralized propaganda. And I don't mean old as in, well, you're over 50, so you don't count. No, I'm talking about like the internet incapable crowd, people who still cling to Fox News, MSNBC, people who can't turn a computer on. I don't have to worry about offending those groups of people because, I mean, they're not using YouTube. They're not looking at my content. Some of these people join for the first time over the course of time. We see increasingly the internet's being fed by third world areas. 10 years ago, you would have been hard-pressed online anywhere unless you spoke multiple languages to find people from certain countries on the net. Now it's quite common. Increasingly, you're seeing people, especially from places like the Philippines, India, Thailand, parts of Latin America, parts of West Africa, a few places in East Africa, certainly Eastern Europe and Russia, entering the internet at larger and larger rates. It's wonderful for people who are willing to delve into ambition, competition, who are willing to use memetics and capable of doing so. It's a free-for-all right now. We're back to the Wild West days of the net right now. We see increasingly people who support less limitations on the net are having a free-for-all too. Pirate Party basically took over Iceland. And one of their main platforms is no internet censorship. This is going to spread elsewhere too. It's going to continue growing. It's great. It's good for the world. It's good for competition. It's good for creativity. It's good for everybody. And PewDiePie, although this may not be actually part of his goal, is helping to hold maybe YouTube as a corporation, a corporate entity subjugated to Google, in turn subjugated to Alphabet, of course, accountable for its misuse of its highlight system. For YouTube was meant when it was first built. I can remember these days. There was no highlights. There's no blah blah. No partnership program or anything. The partnership program's fine, by the way. That's good for larger creators, I guess. Helps protect them some. But YouTube should be just a leveled competitive platform. There shouldn't be any favoritism shown when they highlight certain artists or groups with certain political or gender-based or racial axes to grind. It turns it into social justice warrior, the video platform. That's not what it was meant to be. It's not what it should be. I would warn YouTube's executives. That's a dark path to go down. You're going to end up losing support if you do that. You will have a schism. It has happened before, time and time. Don't make the same mistakes that some of these corporations have made. Provide a level platform, all the services you have now, but don't look like you're pushing specific agendas. Because then people are going to use that to prop up their own material that you may not even like in a propagandistic manner. That is what will happen. If you don't want that to happen, all you have to do is level the playing field. Nobody should get any favorable treatment. There shouldn't be a YouTube Heroes. I'm ambivalent about it myself, but it's kind of a worthless endeavor. It doesn't seem to have had any significant impact on the platform, at least so to speak now. YouTube highlights, all this stuff. Oh, here's our recommended video of the day. Even the recommended videos lists that I see within categories. Why? Why? Half the time I just X them out and remove them. And they keep showing up over and over again, different categories of stuff that I'm not ever going to watch. I have never clicked on any of those videos. I probably never will. I've subscribed to people because I want to see their content. I'm not interested in what YouTube thinks that I'm interested in seeing based on ads that are never delivered that I don't pay any attention to. I don't care about that stuff. I'm here for people. I'm here to watch mainly people, again, some random person with a webcam. I'm not here to watch what some corporation made on a multi-million-dollar budget. That's just not, it's not interesting to me. Some people, yeah, that's fine. They want to go and watch that. That's great. That's your choice. But that's not what built YouTube in the first place. It was individuals that built YouTube. That's still what mainly comprises YouTube at this point, and it probably always will be. It would be pretty bad if it didn't stay that way. Honestly, even YouTube Red gets some people's cackles up. I don't have a problem with it myself. If YouTube needs ads to survive, so be it. But at the same time, you're going to see this increasingly, I think, over the next few years. That's about all. Peace out.